Just a couple of days ago, the Rams played the Raiders in their second preseason game. They ended up losing 34-17, and this is going to be my breakdown on the game. Let's get into it. So what's good, everybody? This is Zach from ZF Productions here, and today we're going to be talking about my breakdown on the Rams versus Raiders preseason game. Now, interestingly enough, I was actually in Las Vegas while this game was happening. Sadly, it was in SoFi, or else I would have probably went to the game. But guys, I'm happy to announce I was up on the weekend, all in green on the weekend in Las Vegas. I know you guys probably don't care, but hey, just wanted to brag about it because why not? Anyways, that's not what we're here for, though. We're going to be talking about the Rams and how they did. Now, I was able to watch a bit of the game while I was in Vegas. However, it gets very hectic, so I wasn't able to watch all of it. So that's why it's taken so long for me to get back to it. Drove home yesterday, got back at 5, was able to watch it, and now I'm giving my breakdown thoughts now after I've watched once again this morning. So Stetson Bennett didn't exactly have his best day. He threw a pick 6 yesterday, only had a 61 rating. 15 for 24 is okay in terms of percentage. However, he was only averaging about 6 yards per throw, 142 yards. Could have been better. Let's see how he does next week against the Broncos, but I still think that he'll be the number 2 quarterback on the depth chart. Brett Rypien came in the fourth quarter, went 4 for 4, but only averaged about 3.5 yards per throw, so also not that solid. Now, Stetson Bennett did have a rushing touchdown, which was good to see, but that was his only carry on the day. Ronnie Rivers got the majority of the workload, had 4.7 yards, which is very solid. He's definitely trying to secure that last spot on the running back roster. I think him, Zach Evans, Cam Akers, and Kerryon Williams will be the running backs on the roster from my perspective. Now, in terms of receiving, Davis Allen was definitely the standout wide receiver. 8 catches for 53 yards. He had that amazing catch over the middle of the field for about 15 yards. Tyler Johnson once again had 3 receptions for 35 yards. Ben Skoranek, a couple of catches for 25 yards. Demarcus Robinson probably should be doing more than this, but also he wasn't in the game for as long, but he did have 7 targets, so only 2 receptions. Not a great showing for him. And then Zach Evans, a catch out of the backfield for 7 yards, which was pretty solid. Now, in terms of defensively, Jake Hummel played very well. I'd say he's one of the breakout stars this week. He had that pick 6 while McVay was on the coach cam, which was very good to see. Our inside linebacker position is something that I've been a bit worried about. So to see him maybe pairing up with, Ernest Jones, they could be a good linebacking core. So I was glad to see, Jake Hummel get that pick 6 and a deflection. But other than that, we also had Keir Thomas with another sack this week. But that was really it for the edge rushers. The edge rushers need to step up. A lot of these players that are playing right now are going to be starting for the Rams. Other than Byron Young, it seems like he's done enough to get that starting spot. Keir Thomas is the only one who has gotten a sack in both weeks. He had a 1.5 last week and 1 this week. So hopefully you can see him do better. And then Trey Tomlinson also had a very nice pass breakup, pass deflection during the game as well. So good to see that. Maybe Trey Tomlinson could be a starter this year. I already made a video on that on the channel if you want to go check it out. But if not, he will definitely be a key contributor with the way he's playing so far in preseason. But the Rams defense not playing very well. But we also expect the Rams to struggle during the preseason just because they hold so many people out, and we do have a few injuries going on at the moment that we need to take care of. But a lot of them should be returning to practice this week, or at least at the very least be ready for the first week of the NFL season. So that's kind of the brief overview thoughts, just in terms of box score and what I saw in the game. But let's go into the Rams Wire article. So here we go. Rams fall to the Raiders 34-17. Instant analysis of the second straight preseason loss. For the second week in the row, the Rams had a hard time slowing down their opponent, giving up 34 points to the Raiders on a Saturday night after surrendering 34 to the Chargers a week ago. The Los Angeles fell to Las Vegas 34-17. at SoFi Stadium, dropping to 0-2 in the exhibition this exhibition season. That means nothing towards the regular season record. Still, you want to see some improvements from the offense and defense as time goes on, but it's hard to say that that was the case. But guys, remember, these are mostly not going to be starters, or these are players that are getting back from injury. Don't take preseason too much into account here. Stetson Bennett took a step back after a solid debut last week, while Tamarcus Davis on defense was picked on regularly by the Raiders quarterbacks. He's not really going to be too much of a contributor, so we don't have to worry too much about that. But yeah, Stetson Bennett, would have loved to see him do a bit better. Though 51 total points were scored, 14 of those were scored on defense. Each team had a pick six, which were two of the biggest plays in this game. Stetson Bennett has come out and said that his pick six was just completely on him, which is something I like to see from the quarterback, taking full responsibility and just doing better next week. Let's hope he does. But the other Jake Hummel pick six was very, very solid and great to see from our possible second starting inside linebacker. But game notes: Stetson Bennett got the start at quarterback after Brett Ripien did so last week. But Brett Ripien really just had 3 drives on the first week, and then he just got in with 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter. He struggled in this one compared to the debut last week, throwing a pick six on a miscommunication with the receiver and nearly throwing another 1 or 2 interceptions later on. He's been having a bit of trouble trying to make plays when they're not there. So let's hope he cleans that up going into the final preseason game of the season. But also, he did have a rushing touchdown, which was good to see that he's able to scramble there. Brett Ripien didn't come into the game until 10 minutes left, like I said, so Bennett played most of the night. John Johnson and Russ Yeast got the start at safety, while Trey Thompson, Robert Rochelle, and Sean Jolly were the starting corners. Like I said, Trey Thompson did well. Johnson also did great, had about 4 tackles, I believe. The Rams trotted out the same starting offensive line as last week: Alaric Jackson, Steve Avila, Mike McAllister, Tremaine Ingram, and Logan Bruss. Logan Bruss did leave in the first half with an ankle injury and didn't return. Doesn't seem like it's too big a deal, or else they would have already updated us. But the pass rush is still borderline non-existent for the Rams, which is a huge problem because some of the players who are on the field are expected to be key contributors. Keir Thomas will probably be a key contributor, but Byron Young wasn't on the field, and these are still just mostly players that are getting the majority of the time, are fighting for the final 53-man roster spot. So it's really not too big of a deal. Puka Nacua wasn't out there in this game, but he was dressed for it. It's a sign that he's already done enough to show his value on the offense. He's getting the veteran treatment, it seems. I would have loved to see Puka Nacua, but also if they think he's going to be starting or being in the game a lot in the regular season, I'm okay with the Rams pulling him. Although he is a rookie, so just give him some time. Byron Young was also held out of this game because he's seemingly done enough to earn a starting job at outside linebacker. We are very thin at outside linebacker. I'm okay with it. Same with Puka. I'd love to see him, but I get it. A rookie tight end, Davis Allen, made his preseason debut and came up with a great grab down the middle in the first half, leaping to make the catch in traffic. He led the team with 8 catches for 53 yards. Solid performance by Davis Allen. He is a bright spot, possibly moving his way up. I was actually not too high on him before this game, but this definitely shot him up in my eyes. So good to see that. 3 stars of the game, we had Davis Allen for 8 targets, 8 catches, and 53 yards. Couldn't ask for anything more from him. John Johnson, he had 4 tackles, just, showing that he's still, there for the Rams. And then Jake Hummel with 5 tackles, 1 interception return for a TD. Solid play from Jake Hummel. I'm extremely happy to see that, especially when that's like my second or third most worried about position on the Rams. So great to see. And here we'll just watch Jake Hummel's pick real quick. Isn't that perfect? He's right here. Boom. Jumps, leaps, gets the grab, and takes it all the way back to tie it up at 10. So I just love seeing that from Jake Hummel, and Coach McVay was on the coach cam, so love to see that as well. What's next for the second week in a row? The Rams will hold joint practices before a preseason game. Hopefully they don't get into too many fights like Aaron Donald did last year. Last week it was, and Cam Akers did. Last week it was the Raiders, and it will be the Broncos practicing with the Rams this week. Next Saturday, the Rams and Broncos will square off in the Denver preseason finale, the last chance for the players to make their case for the 53-man roster. And I'll be doing a 53-man roster prediction update this week at some point too. But just know Davis Allen, definitely a rising star. But anyways, let me know what you guys thought about this preseason game in the comment section below. Are you excited for the Rams? Are you a little bit worried? I'm not too worried myself. But leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.